Part 19. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 182. The lewd and teasing laughter of those men echoed in Sulinger's ears, making Sulinger's originally expressionless face even more gloomy. Suchanga was a little surprised that his baby Linger had such an expression, which was quite interesting. One of the men said these dirty words while approaching Sulinger, wanting to reach out and touch Sulinger's smooth and white face. Sulinger immediately took a step back and glared at the man with a cold glare. Hey, the little girl actually has such a spicy side, ha ha ha, I like it. Let's go back with my uncles. Among the men, Sulinger refused to let them touch her, but she took the initiative to follow them. They all thought that this little girl was unwilling to do anything on the street. So they led Sulinger to their hometown. It is a famous slum area in the city. The people here are basically the lowest class of people. Either they are really poor, or something has happened to their family and there is nothing they can do about it, or they have been in poor health since they were young and have no talent. Body training. However, there are also many sinners who are hiding here because they have committed crimes. Even if this is a mortal city in the fairy world, there are laws. There are many people who have violated the laws and are unwilling to be caught. They will hide themselves among these poor people. The environment here is very bad. Even the guards in the city are not willing to set foot here for fear of getting their clothes stained. As a result, this place is dirty and messy, and the security is very poor. Bad. Those men brought Sulinger here. When they arrived at the door of a shack, one of the men opened the rotten wooden door of the shack, and then called Sulinger to go in. Sulinger frowned slightly. Frowning. Ever since Sulinger was born, she has never seen a place like this. In the past, when Suchanga was around, her father gave her and her sister Sukingsio the best food, clothing, housing, and transportation. Sulinger had no chance at all. She could see such a place. She just paused and walked into the shack. She wanted to take a closer look at what these wretched mortals wanted to do. The shack didn't look very big from the outside. As soon as I entered the door, I saw what it means to be a house with 4 walls. There was almost no complete furniture in this shack. There were a few tables and chairs, but either a corner was missing or a leg was broken, none of them was complete. There was straw everywhere on the ground. There is a large haystack in the corner of the shack. There are no beds here, so the haystack should be where these people sleep. Sulinger clearly saw that a haystack in the innermost corner was moving. That one, the honest-looking man, had a fierce look on his face and strode directly towards the moving haystacks. I thought these 2 damn girls had run away. It turns out to be hidden here. Ha ha ha. The man grabbed 2 thin girls directly from behind the haystack. The 2 girls should have been hiding behind the haystack before. They probably heard these people coming back and were trembling with fear. Get up. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Another beautiful sister is here to keep you company. Sulinger looked at the 2 girls. The clothes on their bodies were almost torn and their original appearance could not be seen. They were broken into strands and hung on their bodies. Exposed, there were very obvious marks on the skin, which were blue and purple, and very scary. The men had already closed the door of the shack at this time, and all of them had lewd smiles on their faces, and 2 of them had already begun to take off their clothes. He had lost his robe. Seeing this scene, the 2 girls immediately huddled back into the corner and hugged each other in fear. The tears on their faces kept flowing down, but they did not dare to cry out, which made them already a little nervous. The mottled cheeks were even more troublesome. Suchanga was already in the shack at this time. When he saw the condition of the 2 girls, he already understood what these people had done to them. Boundless anger rose in his heart. Angry. One of the 2 girls looks to be 13 or 14 years old, and the other is about 10 years old. Seeing them reminds Suchanga of his 2 precious daughters. They should be pampered by their parents. The children who had grown up together were kidnapped and raped here by these beasts. Just by looking at the frightened expressions of the two girls, one could guess what evil deeds these beasts had done and deserved to be cut into pieces. Seeing these bitches actually caught Sulinger's attention. If he didn't let them understand what the human Shura field is, Suchanga would really be a father in vain. Just when Suchanga was thinking about what kind of lesson he should teach them. At this time, Sulinger moved her hands with disgust on her face. Several rays of spiritual power shot out from Sulinger's hands, and several rays of light fell on those people. The few who were smiling lewdly and preparing to attack Sulinger, the person was unable to move in an instant. Two others who were holding their outer robes were also squatting on the spot. Their faces were full of shock, and they had no idea why they were suddenly unable to move. His consciousness is still clear, and only his eyes can move throughout his body. It turns out that you brought me here to make me like those two girls. Sulinger spoke, and the clear and sweet voice was frighteningly cold at this time. Even the two girls huddled in the corner were stunned by the sudden change in front of them. They looked at Sulinger blankly, completely unable to understand what was happening in front of them. Sulinger's big and smart eyes flashed with cold light, and another spell flicked from his fingers to those people. At this time, several wretched men knew in their hearts that this time, I kicked the steel plate. I didn't expect that such a delicate and quiet little girl would be a monk, and her cultivation level was not low. However, a few people were not too panicked. They had all been training since childhood. Mortals have their own protective barrier. Several people have committed crimes and gathered in this slum to live in this slum. Because they have to hide their identity as sinners, they can only stay in this slum at ordinary times. They dare not do so at night. Go to the night market to steal or rob some money and food. It is also because they have been here for a long time and feel that the wind outside is not so tight, so they dare to get a few little girls to enjoy it. Those two girls also they were kidnapped using the same method. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 183. The leader of these people was the man who looked honest. Even though he looks like that, he is actually a villain who commits all kinds of crimes including murder and arson. They fled here from other cities. That man deceived many people with his honest face that easily made people relax their vigilance. When Sulinger's spiritual power hit those people, they didn't feel any change at first. They all thought that their protective barrier had a protective effect and resisted the little girl's spell attack. Everyone was still feeling complacent in their hearts, feeling that although this little girl could immobilize them, she could only do so. When the immobilization spell on them has expired, they must teach this little ascetic who knows nothing about heaven and earth a lesson. But the proud look in their eyes did not last for a few more seconds. The next moment, I felt that my body was extremely hot. It felt like someone had set a fire in their internal organs, burning their livers and gallbladders to the point of trembling. In just a moment, the people who were frozen in place began to turn red and sweat, and even their eyes began to become bloodshot. Sulinger used a fire spirit's most basic technique to burn their blood and internal organs. In the past, Sulinger might not have been able to control the power of her spells so accurately. It is impossible to make the person who has been hit by the spell feel extremely painful without directly killing them. Now that Sulinger has reached the peak of King Feng's strength, she can control her spiritual skills more accurately. She controlled the intensity of the burning, letting the fire spirit's breath slowly burn the blood and internal organs of these people, while keeping their skin from being damaged and the people from dying. They can even clearly feel how the flames in their bodies are burning out their insides bit by bit. Several people were all frightened at this time. They didn't understand why this little girl could directly penetrate the spell into their bodies without breaking the protective barrier. But now the hot and burning pain made it impossible for them to distract themselves from thinking about the reason. They wanted to beg for mercy, they wanted to kneel down and beg the monk Sulinger to let them go. but the body holding technique Sulinger used this time was very perfect. These people were unable to speak at all, and their mouths and tongues were unable to move at all. The pain tortured every nerve in their bodies, as if all the pores in their bodies began to emit the stench of burnt flesh. Of all pains, burning pain is the most excruciating. This is even more painful for them than just poking a few holes in their bodies with a sharp blade. Sulinger saw the reactions of several people and knew that her spell was released perfectly this time. He ignored those people and walked directly towards the two girls who were still in the corner. "Were you also abducted by them?" The two little girls seemed to be frightened. Their frightened eyes were full of tears. They stared at Sulinger without daring to say anything. Sulinger sighed softly and reached out to pull the hair of the two girls. He took off the straw and said in a soft voice, "Don't be afraid, I'm here to save you." After the words fell for a long time, the two girls came back to their senses. They looked at the beautiful girl squatting in front of them and felt the kindness in her. They suddenly broke down and cried. Sulinger was a little confused. She clearly said she was here to save them, so why did she make these two people cry? Sulinger scratched her head at a loss and didn't know how to comfort the two girls. Suchanga hid himself standing behind Sulinger. He looked with soft eyes at his kind-hearted precious daughter who was getting rid of violence. The two girls cried loudly for a while, as if to vent their anger, and then they all knelt down towards Sulinger. "Kowtow constantly. Thank you, girl, for being willing to save us. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. The one who kowtows is a real person. If it weren't for the haystacks underneath them, I'm afraid their foreheads would bleed from the kowtow." "No, no, 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 what are you doing?" Sulinger was even more confused. The emotions of these mortals were a bit too sudden, catching her off guard. "Think about it, what would your father do at this time?" Sulinger scratched her head again and tried hard to recall her own father's usual behavior. "I probably thought of something, so I stood up and released a spell towards the two girls." The two girls who were kowtowing to express their thanks were helped up by a gentle force. Sulinger said with a slight smile on her face. "The two girls must not do this. This fairy is just drawing a sword to help when there is an injustice. Please follow me out of here quickly and go home." Sulinger tried her best to put on a calm and profound look, and her voice was very soft. Suchanga raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that his daughter would suddenly do such a thing. Although it is not good to do this, Suchanga still couldn't hold back his curiosity. With a pinch of his fingers, he knew what Sulinger was thinking just now. "This girl, do your father and I usually behave like this?" Suchanga muttered to himself. Then Sulinger took the two girls out of the shack and asked them where their homes were. Taking advantage of the darkness, he sent the two girls directly back to their respective homes. As for those things that were worse than beasts, Sulinger didn't even give them a look when she left. Sulinger was too pure and kind in the end, and it didn't kill them. It was just the fire spirit spell. In the bodies of these people, their internal organs and blood will be burned for 3 days and 3 nights. This kind of torture is comparable to the flaming hell, and it will definitely make these people remember it for life. After all, Sulinger is just a simple and harmless little girl. I don't know how many evil things these people have committed, including murder and arson. I just thought that these people abducted these two girls and did not harm their lives, so I tortured those people so that they will remember them for the rest of their lives. This lesson left them with their lives." Suchanga looked at Sulinger leaving with the two girls, and for a moment he didn't know how he felt. His daughter hated evil so much and was so kind, but she didn't know what it was like. Good or bad? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 184. After Sulinger left the shack, Suchanga had no intention of just letting these beasts off who wanted to take advantage of Sulinger. Suchanga removed the hidden magic from his body and appeared in front of several people. When those people saw the man who suddenly appeared in front of them, their eyes immediately turned towards Xiao Mo. They could see that Suchanga's ability to appear out of thin air was certainly not something that a mere mortal could do. So this man must also be a monk. Suchanga naturally noticed the looks in those men's eyes. With an expression that looked like a smile but not a smile, he lifted his fingers slightly and directly lifted the ban on those men. Although they can't move yet, their mouths can speak. This immortal. Please save us. We are being victimized by evil spirits. Please help us, adults. As long as the immortal can save us, from now on we will follow you loyally and work as a horse for you. Those people endured their pain and kept begging Suchanga to remove the fire magic from their bodies. A slight smile appeared on Suchanga's face, but the smile did not reach his eyes. Have you been harmed by evil spirits? Why do you want to harm you? Those people originally asked for mercy just to try their luck. After all, they didn't know why the man who suddenly appeared here came here. Now when they heard Suchanga asked why they were killed, they suddenly thought that Suchanga was just passing by. I don't know what happened here before. So someone made up nonsense and described Sulinger as a monster who likes to eat young girls. They also said that Sulinger took a fancy to the two in their family. Daughter, they kidnapped their two daughters. In order to prevent the demon from harming people, they wanted to stop Sulinger. However, the little demon girl cast a spell. Not only could they not move or speak, but they also felt he was burning inside, feeling that all the blood and internal organs in his body were burning. Xiao Mo just listened quietly to the men who were constantly wailing in pain, while he viciously arranged all kinds of vicious words and accusations on him. On Sulinger's head. Those men felt that they had molded themselves into a very kind and appropriate image of honest mortals. For most ascetics, they were basically unwilling to care about mortals. Things. Because it is not easy to practice Taoism, it takes a lot of time to practice. And when you participate in things between mortals, it is very easy to be contaminated by cause and effect. If it is good cause and effect, the ascetics may accumulate some merits and give them, it will add a little help to your cultivation path. However, the relationship between mortals is too complicated. If you don't understand clearly and help each other casually, you may do the wrong thing with good intentions. If you are contaminated with bad karma, then the pair their own merits and virtues are all at a loss. It is very time-consuming to spend more time to understand all the causes and results, and to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. For the ascetics, the gain outweighs the loss. It is not conducive to their cultivation. Therefore, most ascetics are unwilling to be contaminated by the secular world. However, some ascetics are completely different from others. What these ascetics want is the gratitude and respect of mortals, and even incense. As long as mortals encounter difficulties, they will definitely help. After the recipient receives help, he will feel grateful to the ascetic. The power of faith generated by this gratitude can help the ascetic practice. As I said before, there are advantages and disadvantages to helping mortals. But people who use this cultivation method will accept whoever comes, no matter good or bad times, it doesn't matter. What they do is for the power of faith. No matter what they believe in, are these people good or bad? Such people are often called side cultivators by mortals as cultivators. It is not enough to say that they are evil cultivators. They can also be helpful to others. But they are kind-hearted, so there is no need for that. After all, no matter who they help, it is for themselves, and some of the people they help are good or bad. These wretched men thought that Suchanga in front of them was the kind of ascetic who cultivated side sections. If this is really the case, then as long as they beg him sincerely, maybe they can not only be rescued, but also have a chance to capture those three little girls. They have all seen Xiu before. The monks from the side sect, otherwise they wouldn't be able to live like a human being after committing a serious crime. They pleaded and begged one after another, constantly expressing their loyalty. They even said that as long as Suchanga could save them, they would set up a longevity tablet for Suchanga and worship him on his forehead with 3 sticks of incense every day. If Suchanga was really an ordinary cultivator, he might actually save someone because they wanted to set up a longevity tablet for him. It's just a pity that Suchanga is Suchanga and will never be the kind of monk these people think he is. When one of the men kept thinking about how vicious Suchanga was about the little demon girl from before, Suchanga's face turned a little cold. They thought that by making Sulinger's words more outrageous and outrageous for both humans and gods, they would be able to raise the status of their victims too high. But they didn't expect that this was the talisman that would send them to hell. Several people found that they had been begging for so long and talked for so long, but the man stood aside and listened without saying a word. They began to roll their eyes hard, hoping to see what Suchanga's expression looked like at this time. Shangxian, Shangxian. Probably because they saw Suchanga's expression was a little cold, they didn't dare to talk anymore, so they could only call Suchanga. Why don't you continue talking? Suchanga's cold voice reached the ears of several people, making them all shiver. Sulinger's fire spirit spell has a time limit, and its effectiveness is gradually decreasing. These people almost died of pain at the beginning, now they are gradually getting used to it. Feeling the cold breath of the man in front of them, they were a little too scared to call out for help. Instead, a touch of fear rose in their hearts. Even if the monk refused to save them, now they could feel the situation inside their bodies gradually getting better. It's getting better. But if I'm just afraid that this man will be unhappy, if he stabs them again, it's really not worth the gain. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 185. What? Suchanga is here. Immortal Emperor Kongji was shocked. The surrounding space has been imprisoned, and there is no way to escape. In addition, Shangguo Tianzun died directly, and Jushin Suanv also died directly. This small branch hall is now in complete chaos. Immortal Emperor Kongji, I have a few questions to ask you. Suchanga's big hand directly grabbed Immortal Emperor Kongji. The terrifying power directly locked the breath of Immortal Emperor Kongji, and there was no place to hide. The so-called Immortal Emperor came directly across the endless space when Suchanga in front of the big hands here, he was as fragile as a child. He immediately caught Immortal Emperor Kongji. Like grabbing a chicken. Don't want, Suchanga. What do you want to do? If you attack the branch of the Immortal Temple in this way, you will definitely pay the price in blood. The Chief Palace Master will never let you go. Immortal Emperor Kongji was panicked. He directly moved out the main hall master to threaten Suchanga. But for Suchanga, he just wants to know where the Chief Palace Master is hiding, and then go there, kill the Chief Palace Master, and completely solve the trouble caused by the Immortal Temple. It's that simple. I ask you, how many branch halls are there in the Immortal Temple, where is the main hall master, and how many immortal emperors like you are there? Suchanga asked leisurely. I can't say. Immortal Emperor Kongji shook his head. Even if he died, he couldn't say it. Because he said he would definitely die, and revealing the news of selling the Immortal Temple was betraying the master of the Supreme Immortal Emperor level. Through the effect of the devouring method, the Emperor can kill him easily. You can say. I can't say. Why? This emperor is loyal and unparalleled, and will never reveal any information about the Immortal Temple. Suchanga sighed. He is really a stubborn duck with a tough mouth. Are you sure you want to say it? I will never reveal even a single bit of it, I am Yi Bo Yun. This world has been sealed by me. No matter what you say, the Chief Palace Master will not know, the method of devouring will not cause any backlash. Immortal Emperor Kongji was silent. Then I looked around and said something common sense in my mind, "Master of the palace." There was no reaction at all. "Palace master. The chief palace master. Chief palace master, come and save me." There was still no response at all. A smile flashed across immortal Emperor Kongji's face, and his courage gradually grew. "Chief palace master, you are so stupid. You are a bastard. Stupid chief palace master." A flash of ecstasy flashed across immortal Emperor Kongji's face, and then he began to curse the chief palace master crazily. His whole person fell into a state of madness. It can be seen that immortal Emperor Kongji must have suffered a lot of inhumane torture from the chief palace master. Suchanga was silent for a moment and directly stopped the crazy behavior of immortal Emperor Kongji. "Say it." "Okay, okay, I said so, don't kill me, the chief palace master is a bastard." Immortal Emperor Kongji burst into tears and started crying crazily. For so many years, he has been living under the powerful rule of the Supreme Immortal Emperor, with no personal freedom at all. Relying on the method of devouring, all the immortal emperors are firmly controlled by the master of the palace. Life and death are in the hands of the main hall master. After a long time, immortal Emperor Kongji finished crying and told Suchanga the secret of the immortal temple. It took less than a moment for Suchanga to figure out the structure of the immortal temple. The master of the main hall, plus 99 branch halls, and 99 immortal emperor level experts, it's indeed a bit tough. Suchanga was slightly shocked. But he didn't take it to heart. For him, there is no substantial difference between the immortal emperor and Xiantian. They are both matters that can be killed instantly with one move. The chief palace master is actually hiding in the fairy world. Suchanga frowned slightly. "Since you can enter the fairy world, why not enter the heaven? This is a doubt." "I know." Suchanga waved his hand and directly beat immortal Emperor Kongji into ashes. You said you wouldn't kill me." Immortal Emperor Kongji's eyes were filled with shock, and then he violently resisted, but to no avail. It was immediately crushed into pieces. "Fairy world," Suchanga murmured. "All the members of the immortal temple, whether they were forced or not, have learned the method of devouring anyway, and have become the kind of demons that can devour billions of living beings and just kill them without mercy." But he didn't expect that the master of the immortal temple would be hiding in the immortal realm. "Heaven, heavenly palace." Suchanga withdrew his palm. Nangong Wen was on the side, looking at Suchanga with admiration. "This little man has become a lot stronger. Even she can't do this kind of method. It seems that I have to work hard quickly, otherwise the gap between me and Suchanga will be too big, and I will be very embarrassed. It has been solved and a lot of information about the immortal temple has been obtained." Suchanga turned around with a smile, just in time to see Nangong Wen's admiring gaze. He was slightly startled. But Nangong Wen coughed quickly, her cheeks were slightly red, and her face quickly turned cold and arrogant. "What, do you know how powerful your husband is?" Suchanga joked. "Have no idea." Nangong Wen denied. "So do you want to give it a try?" Suchanga chuckled, then waved his palms. "You are so bad." Nangong Wen spat, then looked slightly serious and asked, "What's the situation over there at the immortal temple?" Suchanga also stopped playing around when he saw this. The immortal temple has a main hall. The guardians in the main hall are all strong immortal emperors, and there are 99 branch halls under it. The owners of the halls are all strong immortal emperors, and moreover, everyone in the immortal temple practices the devouring method, which is the supreme method. Nangong Wen was a little shocked. There are so many immortal emperors, and there is one supreme immortal emperor, all of them are practicing the method of devouring. Then how many living beings have these guys devoured until now? It is estimated that there are living beings in the world outside the territory. They are all about to be swallowed up. Nangongwen guessed right. It is precisely because the world of living beings outside the territory has been almost swallowed up that the immortal temple will focus on the heaven and the fairy world. And the fairy world, there is also the supreme immortal emperor, and he has also held back the chief palace master. The heaven realm cannot be captured because of Suchanga and Nangongwen, so the immortal temple is now very difficult to conquer. Wu Yan, please achieve harmony as soon as possible and completely control the heaven, so that you can be foolproof. Suchanga warned. The so-called Hedeo is a state after becoming the great Deo of heaven. After achieving Hedeo, the entire heaven is one's own and can be controlled at will. All native creatures in the heaven will be controlled by oneself. Okay, almost. Nangongwen smiled slightly. She has been a immortal for many years, and her current combat power is almost equivalent to the peak of the immortal emperor. When she fully merges with the Tao, she will definitely be able to step into the realm of the supreme immortal emperor. By then, the strength gap between her and Suchanga will be zoom out. Maybe we can have another baby. Heaven, the third ancient road. This third ancient road is an ancient road that can only be entered by those who are strong in the holy realm. A human saint opened his eyes. Unexpectedly, Kong Heiran, was reborn. A man wearing a green robe, who looked like a handsome scholar in ancient times, had shock in his eyes. His name was Kong Heiran. He was originally a literature instructor at Blue Star, but he died suddenly of illness. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself sitting upright on top of a huge star. At the same time, opposite the stars, there is a vast and endless starry sky, which converges into a long road. Such a beautiful sight made Kong Heiran lose his mind for a moment. But then, a mechanized voice rang out. Congratulations to the host for awakening the Wendeo killing god system. By composing poems on the theme of Su, you can gain a lot of literary energy, prove the Tao through literature, and gain powerful power. Kong Heiran was stunned for a moment. Then he was ecstatic. Although he was a literature teacher, when he was studying ancient poetry, he also read various novels. Naturally, he knew that this was his own system. The appearance of the system meant that he was the destined son of this world. Host, the culture of this world has not yet been discovered, but it exists. I hope that the host will become the founder of culture and lead the rise of culture in this world. The voice of the system was a little excited. The rise of civilized society is a road that no one has ever walked in the heaven. Maybe we can open up the road to the heaven by controlling this road. This is the new method that their 13th palace thought of. Damn it, follow the Wendeo of heaven to gradually control the heaven. If Kong Heiran becomes the patriarch of Wendeo, his status will definitely be comparable to Nangongwen. Such a feat will definitely be rewarded by the chief palace master. Does literature really exist? Yes, host, but the literary power has not yet fully awakened, and the host needs to use a top-quality immortal poem to activate it, and the system will assist. Kong Heiran was overjoyed. Damn. Hate Ho's poems memorized in previous lives, ancient poems and songs. If you pick out one at random, it is probably at the level of immortal poetry. Thinking of this, Kong Heiran became excited. Cool. The accumulation of poems and songs from his previous life is his strongest golden finger. The system is just an auxiliary. System, let's start now. Hold on. The system replied, and then a main task appeared in front of Kong Heiran. Main Mission 1, Hell Level Difficulty: recite a fairy poem and open up the hidden path of literature in heaven. Main Mission 2, Hard Difficulty: clear the first half of the Starry Sky Ancient Road, suppress all the geniuses, and promote the name of literature. Main Mission 3, Difficulty Unknown: defeat Wendeo's strongest enemy, Sukingseo. Please do your best to complete the task. Kong Heiran smiled slightly. If for others, task 1 is hell level, but for him, Mission 1 was simply for nothing. Immortal poetry, naturally, the poetry of the poet Li Bai is the most reliable. Kong Heiran thought in his mind. Then he remembered a poem. It can definitely inspire the hidden literature in this world. Whoever abandons me will not be able to retain yesterday's day. Those who disturb my mind will cause me many worries today. As Kong Heiran sang, a hidden power was mobilized from heaven. Wisps of powerful literary energy seep out from every corner of the world. All the creatures in the heaven were shocked. Qingming reading ceremony. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 186. Suchanga will never show any mercy to those who want to get their hands on Suling. That was his precious daughter who he couldn't bear to beat or scold. How could he let others bully her? Even these people didn't have the ability to do anything to Suling. But when they had this idea, they were already damned. Suchanga would not let them die so easily. At the very least, he had to let them feel the dangers of the world. Now is the estrus period of those wild boar monsters, and Suchanga can take advantage of this. After briefly glancing at the miserable condition of those people, Suchang left without looking back. The outcome of these people is most likely to be dead. If they are lucky enough to survive, it is considered their good fortune. Suchanga didn't care what happened to these people next. His punishment has been given, and whether they live or die after that has nothing to do with him. Suling sent the two little girls home and did not show up in front of their dummies. However, before returning home from them, I still used magic to clean the bodies of the two girls, and also bought 2 clean clothes for them at the night market. Both girls thanked Suling profusely and wanted to ask Suling's name, saying that they would repay her if they had the chance in the future. Suling refused and did not reveal any information about herself to the two of them. After all, they just met by chance. Suling didn't go out of her way to save them, and there was no need to ask for anything in return. However, after sending the two girls home, Suling still felt that a golden light of merit came and entered her body. So is this the reward for doing good deeds? Suling felt the golden light of merit and sighed. This feeling was different from the spiritual energy absorbed during normal practice. When the golden light of merit entered her body, it was an indescribable feeling. When she returned to the inn, it was already late at night. Suling did not sleep. Instead, she sat cross-legged on the bed and began to digest the golden light of merit. Suchanga had also told her about merit in the past. The so-called merit is not that good things are obtained, and there are advantages and disadvantages. For example, the two girls Suling saved this time. Now it is because Suling saved them and gained merit, but if these two girls do evil in the future, if something happened, the retribution would not only be retaliated on themselves, but some of it would also come back to Suling. At the beginning, Suchanga only gave a rough account of these things. Suling felt the golden light of merit against her. The influence of his own cultivation level felt like that. At the beginning of the period, it felt really good, but after completely absorbing the golden light of those merits, Suling felt that these things were not as good as the spiritual wine brewed by Suchanga himself. More effective. Suling curled her lips, feeling a little bored, so she lay down to sleep. After Suchanga dealt with those men who deserved their punishment and were worse than beasts, he came to Suling again. Feeling Suling's thoughts made Suchanga dumbfounded for a moment. This little girl was spoiled by him, and now she doesn't even look down on the golden light of merit. You must know that there are many things like the golden light of merit. Those who practice Taoism can only meet them but cannot ask for them. Even those monks who cast a wide net to cultivate side sects and practice heretical ways may not always get the golden light of merit every time they help mortals. It has to be said that his daughter Suchanga luck is good. The two girls who were rescued by Suling were both kind-hearted children. Suchanga pointed out to those two girls. Although they were in bad luck when they were young, they got help from noble people and came back. It won't take long after you get home to start a new life. When Sulinger repaired the injuries on the two girls' bodies, she inadvertently also helped the two girls repair and heal some of their inhumane injuries. Therefore, let the two girls truly put aside this unbearable past and start a new happy life. They are originally ordinary people. Although the family is not rich, they can still eat and drink well, and their parents they are still alive, and their parents love them very much. This time they have been missing for several days, and their families are very anxious. Now that they are back home safe and sound, their families are also very happy. Both girls they told their families that they were saved by what they thought was a fairy, but they didn't know which fairy's last name or title. So they could only buy incense and candles, set up a nameless longevity tablet, and worship that fairy every day. The great kindness of a fairy. Suchanga saw all this and felt deeply comforted in his heart. However, naturally he would not let go of things that belonged to his precious daughter. With a little spell, Suchanga took those things away. Sulinger's name was engraved on the wordless longevity tablets enshrined by the two families. As a result, when the two families served the longevity tablets with incense every day, they would add a little moral aura to Sulinger. It's just that the name on the longevity card was engraved by Suchanga using magic, and mortals couldn't see it. They only thought that they were still worshipping the nameless fairy. Sulinger didn't feel much about this. After all, her storage space contained a lot of spiritual wine that Suchanga had prepared for her before her trip. Every sip is filled with a lot of merit and incense. These are all things for later and need not be mentioned again. Let's say that Sulinger woke up the next day and went downstairs, planning to go to the street to see if there were any other delicious and fun things that she hadn't bought. But I found that there were many more people coming and going on the street than the previous day. So I called the innkeeper to find out what was going on. Little girl, it's better not to wander around these days. Go home quickly. There will be an auction in the city in a few days, and people from other cities will come. At that time, the city will be crowded and it may not be safe. The boss also saw that Sulinger, an 8 or 9-year-old girl, was staying alone in the inn, so he kindly reminded her. Auction event? What is being auctioned? When Sulinger heard about the auction, she became interested and quickly asked the shopkeeper. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 187. Chapter 187 Old Man. Suchanga was sitting at a table in the corner of the inn, holding a cup of tea and sipping it carefully. No one could see him coming and going, but no one dared to sit at that table. Suchanga continued to protect Sulinger not far away, and naturally heard the conversation between the shopkeeper and Sulinger. Auction? Interesting. You know that no matter where it is, activities like auctions are always indispensable. Even if Suchanga is lacking everything now, he will want to go and take a look when he hears there is an auction. After coming here for so many years, Suchanga has also seen some auctions, but basically they were in the lower realm. Suchanga has never been to the auctions in the fairy world and heaven. Even though this is just a mortal city, Suchanga is still curious about what these mortals will auction. Sulinger is indeed Suchanga's daughter. Like Suchanga, she is also very curious about this so-called auction. The innkeeper feels that such a mixed auction is not suitable for such a young girl to go to. So I still persuaded Sulinger at first. Little girl, it's not that I didn't tell you where it is. It's really not safe for you to go there alone. Sulinger doesn't think it's anything. After all, she is now a cultivator with peak strength. She is a living being and has more advantages in cultivation than ordinary cultivators. Although not as good as her sister Sukinxu, the chaotic body is the best constitution in all eternity, but the living body is far better than those ordinary cultivators on the basis of cultivation. and Sulinger has been fed by Suchanga with various heavenly materials and earthly treasures since she was born. Her spiritual roots and qualifications are not low. Not to mention meeting other cultivators on the same level as her, even if there are a few cultivators in the realm of great saints, Sulinger can fight. Even if she can't beat her, Sulinger can still fight. Linger also has a lot of protective magic weapons prepared by Suchanga for her. At worst, she will run away. If this fairy dares to go out and practice alone, she won't be afraid of those things. Shopkeeper, don't worry. Tell me what this auction is about. The shopkeeper was worried just now, thinking that if Sulinger really wanted to go, he would advise her to go back and let her family take her there. Who would have thought that this little girl has such a bad tone that she doesn't even know what an auction is? The shopkeeper was a nice person, maybe because Sulinger was so young and so smart and cute. The shopkeeper carefully explained to Sulinger what the auction was about. Oh, so it's just shopping. Sulinger listened for a long time and finally figured out what it meant. Suddenly she lost interest. Where can't she buy something? Do you have to have so many people crowded together to join in the fun? Although Sulinger likes to watch the fun, but I don't like so many people squeezing around to grab something. You are right to say that, auction is indeed a way of buying and selling. However, auctions are also different from ordinary transactions. Generally, they sell things that are usually unobtainable. The shopkeeper stroked his beard and said to Sulinger, "Something you can't usually buy." When Sulinger heard this, her eyes lit up. Will there be anything delicious and fun? Being asked like this by Sulinger, the shopkeeper was a little dumbfounded. Children are children after all, and they only like things to eat and play with. After all, they don't know the meaning of treasures. The shopkeeper is so light. After sighing, he still answered Sulinger's question. There might also be something to eat. As for things to play, I don't know what the little girl likes to play. But there should be a lot of wealthy men who like to auction off all the things they want to play with. The shopkeeper recalled that he had auctioned some treasures in the past. Some antiques, calligraphy and paintings, etc. The little girl in front of me probably wouldn't be interested in those things, but some rich gentleman would indeed be very interested in these things. You mean, you will sell some things that the old man likes? Sulinger was not interested just now, but she became interested as soon as she heard this. Yes, there was a colorful jade snuff bottle that was auctioned the year before last. It was so beautiful. If I didn't have that much money, I would really like to buy it as a gift for my 50th birthday. The shopkeeper recalled the object he saw before, and now he felt a little regretful when he thought about it. The thing was so beautiful that he fell in love with it as soon as he saw it. It's a pity that it was just a display cabinet in an inn. There are not that many spiritual stones to auction for such a dazzling treasure. Sulinger saw that what the shopkeeper said was so true, and immediately asked, "Then tell me quickly where the auction will be held? I also want to buy the thing you mentioned. My old man might also like it." Think about it, Suchanga has always taken great care of her since she was born. No matter what good thing it is, as long as her sister Sukingsyu has it and Sulinger wants it, Suchanga will definitely get it. But she had never given anything to Suchanga in her whole life. When the shopkeeper said that there would be something that the old man would like, Sulinger immediately thought that if she could buy something that her father would like, she would give it to him. Dad will be fine. Suchanga listened to the side and black lines appeared on his forehead. What the hell? Old man? Is it possible that the old man in Sulinger's mouth is him? No, no. I miss him. Suchanga is graceful and graceful in the wind. He clearly looks like a handsome young immortal. How could he be the old man? Sulinger said. The old man, Sulinger said, definitely. No. Yes. Who knows what Sulinger will say next? Those words completely turned the luck in Suchanga's heart into a bubble. Shopkeeper, please tell me quickly, I want to buy something for my dad that he likes. Suchanga was petrified. It turns out that in the heart of his precious daughter, he is already the same as those old men who just like to play with walnuts and play with things when they have nothing to do. Oh woo woo, what should I do? I feel so wronged. I really want to pounce. She entered Nangongwen's arms and accused Sulinger of being an unfilial daughter. She actually called him an old man. Sulinger didn't know that Suchanga was beside her, and she heard her calling Suchanga an old man. Still there, I happily asked the shopkeeper about the auction. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 188. Chapter 188, Short-Sighted Idiot. The shopkeeper told Sulinger about the auction in Wutong City. It turns out that the mortal cities in the heaven are all connected to each other, and every year a city is selected as the venue for the auction. Wutong City has the best security among many cities because there are strong men in the Holy King realm. After all, most powerful monks are not very willing to have anything to do with mortals. First, there is no benefit to be gained, after all, they are just mortals. Second, getting involved in mortal affairs would too much delay their cultivation time. There are only a few cultivators who still can't give up their greed for power. Even if they become powerful, they still want to be kings and hegemons. In the eyes of the ascetics who are truly dedicated to seeking the Tao, such people are not doing their job properly. Even if they can become kings and saints now, the path of asceticism for such people has come to an end. If you want to break through, you must calm down your mind. It is best to find a secluded fairy mountain to practice with concentration, so that you can one day break through to a higher realm. Otherwise, we can only stop here. But these people do not agree with this idea in their hearts. They always feel that everything depends on man-made efforts. If you are used to living a life where others are superior to others, you will naturally not be able to bear the unbearable loneliness of cultivating alone. Therefore, they like to stay in a place with mortals and accept the fear and admiration of mortals. There are also high-level strong men who sit in some cities. Just like the phoenix in the Saint King realm in Wutong City. He was also the proud son of the Fire Phoenix clan in the past. He has relied on family support since he was a child, and the elixirs and techniques have been closely used by him. Being born in the Fire Phoenix clan and in the Heaven realm, the starting point is much higher than that of many cultivators. But also because the starting line is too high, the entire level of cultivation is the result of the family pill technique. It is difficult to improve after reaching the Holy King. He also cannot let go of his noble status and is unwilling to suffer and endure hardships. So he settled in Wutong City, took the position of city lord, and accepted the worship and admiration of mortals. Relying on these spiritual stones and incense, I could barely improve my cultivation. According to the innkeeper, it is only in the past few years that monks have to deliver spiritual stones when they enter the city. There used to be no such rules. Probably because the city lord has almost made all the good things of the Fire Phoenix clan, and he can't desperately squeeze out the little support from the mortals in the city. The city lord once thought of squeezing the mortals in the city and increasing taxes by several %. Originally, he thought he could make a fortune. In the first 2 months, the income was much more than usual, but the tax spiritual stones received later were less than before the increase in taxes, and then they became less and less. The city lord realized that something was wrong and sent his subordinates to investigate, only to find that many people had left Wutong City with their families because they could not bear the oppression of excessive taxes and miscellaneous taxes. Some excuses were that they wanted to go out of town to visit relatives, some wanted to go out to study, some wanted to marry out of town, and some even just packed their bags and left secretly overnight without any reason at all. Only then did the city lord realize that his oppression had caused the population loss of Wutong City and had caused great damage to his interests. As a result, taxes were slowly lowered and many policies were issued. The lost population slowly recovered. The road to the mortal side was impassable, so the city lord turned his attention to the monks. Generally, many ascetics who want to enter the mortal city come here with a purpose. They have the need to enter the city, and they have spiritual stones with them, so the Phoenix city lord can scrape some oil and water from them for his own cultivation. But this is a drop in the bucket. The city lord will try his best to hold the auction in his city every year, so that he can get more money. The spirit stones obtained from the auction will be divided into 20% profit by the city holding the auction. Including this time, Wutong City has already held 7 auctions. In addition to some treasures collected by mortals, there will also be some monks with low levels of cultivation who will exchange treasures that they cannot use for some spiritual stones. Sulinger didn't understand many of the things the shopkeeper said, but she was willing to listen to the fun. Suchanga heard it clearly and had some comments about the city lord in his heart. He's just a short-sighted idiot with little ability. Strictly speaking, the Fire Phoenix clan also belongs to the monster beasts. However, their bloodline is powerful and they are born with cultivation realm. They are a powerful existence that cannot be ignored among the monster beasts. But this is not the case in Suchanga's. There is nothing in his eyes. Even Suchanga, one of the 10 most ferocious beasts, can use them to prepare food and drinks with just a raise of his hand, let alone a mere fire phoenix. Sulinger is a living being, and his origin is fire spirit. Both belong to the fire element. Even if the Fire Phoenix City Lord is several levels higher than Sulinger, with Sulinger's own ability and the protective magic weapons in her storage space, it doesn't matter. Threat. Since Sulinger wants to go to the auction to join in the fun, there is nothing wrong with it. The shopkeeper finally gave Sulinger a few words, saying that big shots from other cities would also come here. There would also be many ascetics present. Among them there are some powerful men such as kings and great saints. As a little girl, Sulinger, it is better not to go to such a dangerous place. After all, not all monks follow the right path. There will always be some crooked things. They most like to capture monks who are lower in level and weaker than them as cauldrons. The shopkeeper knew when Sulinger took out the cakes from the storage space and ate them while listening to his speech that the little girl should also be a monk. He just looked too weak. If he just went to a place surrounded by wolves, it would be a matter of whether he could all come out in one piece. Sulinger still had a nonchalant attitude about this. Don't worry, uncle, it's all a trivial matter. There is no place in the 3 realms that I can't go to. Seeing that Sulinger was so persistent and so certain, the shopkeeper probably had something to rely on. So he sighed and told Sulinger when and where the auction would be held. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 189. Chapter 189, Praise into the pit of my heart. The auction should be held in the city's largest trading house in 3 days. The city lord is personally in charge, and several major families in the city, as well as various forces from other cities, are involved. Some of the auction items have been decided before, and you can also report the items you want to auction to the firm in the past few days. Moreover, the treasures to be auctioned need to be sent to the organizer, who will authenticate and issue a certificate indicating that they are indeed treasures, and their true value must be above the starting price. Sulinger was not very interested in the process of these auctions. She just wanted to know if there could be anything at the auction that her father Suchanga would like. But before the auction begins, only a portion of the lots will be known. The Lord of Fire Phoenix City, named Rong Hanjian, also took out a treasure to participate in the auction this time. The treasure he took out was the lotus pattern water dragon vine, which can be regarded as a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It's just a water attribute treasure, which is incompatible with his own physique and cultivation techniques, so he can't use it himself. So I simply took it out and used it as a bargaining chip to compete for the right to auction. Participating in the auction are more than a dozen cities on the western continent of Tianjia. No matter which city the auction can be held in, the city will definitely shine in the land of Zizhu. So every time it was time to select the venue for the final auction, it was time for more than a dozen city lords to compete. Each city has to put up a bid. Whose treasure is the most precious and rare, then the organizer will win it in the end. Because Rong Hanjian has the Huofeng clan behind him, and there are countless treasures in the clan, he can naturally come out on top from time to time. It's just that now the Fire Phoenix clan is gradually declining, and the babies are almost defeated by Rong Hanjian, who they regard as their favorite son. Rong Hanjian has started to panic over the past few years. Every year, a large number of manpower is sent out of the city to search for various treasures. He used what he could use for himself, and kept what he couldn't use for himself and sold it at a high price at auction. Because it relied on the foundation strength of the Fire Phoenix clan, Wuotong City was considered one of the strongest cities among the dozen or so cities under the control of Rong Hanjian. A lot of treasures can be found every year. When Suchanga was shopping outside with Suling people on the streets were talking about the auction. Some people are present at almost every auction. Even if you can't afford anything, you still have to learn something. You don't know, the glazed supreme pure vase that the Lord of Wuhuan City put up for auction the year before last was so dazzling and beautiful that it made me blind when I took a look at it through the light. The two lantern lion heads that Taoist Xingmao took last year are so beautiful. If I didn't have enough spiritual stones in my pocket, I would have photographed it and given it to my old man as a birthday gift. I heard that there are some with similar quality this year. I have prepared spiritual stones this time and came here specifically to take pictures. Damn, what's the point? I bought an earth-level spiritual weapon at the auction in Nanhua City a few years ago. Several monks almost got into a fight. Suchanga couldn't help but feel amused while listening to the conversation between these people. The treasures they talked about were so beautiful, so brilliant, and so precious. Suchanga almost always dropped them on the ground and was too lazy to bend down to pick them up. People who use dragon crystal to pad the foot of their bed naturally look down upon these things that are extremely rare for mortals. Sulinger listened with great interest. In particular, I specifically asked the man who said he wanted to take a picture of a lantern with a lion head and give it to his old man as a birthday gift. "Uncle, what is the lantern lion head?" The man was talking to his companions in high spirits when he suddenly heard a clear and sweet girl's question. He couldn't help but be startled. He turned around and saw a delicate and beautiful girl with big eyes, who was curious. He looked at himself with a look of curiosity. If it had been any other child, this man would probably have driven them away. After all, what he was talking about was all grown-up topics. Who would be willing to patiently talk so much to a child? However, he was stared at by Sulinger's big watery eyes for a moment. This man was a businessman, traveling between cities in Zizhu doing business. Most of the people he dealt with on weekdays were rough men. Although beautiful women also I have seen a lot, but it is rare to see such a smart, cute, and charming little girl. In addition, Sulinger also spoke politely, which made the man feel good and a little embarrassed at the same time. He patiently explained to Sulinger he talked about what a lantern lion head is, and also talked about the names of some other literary objects. Sulinger was stunned for a while and didn't understand a few words at all. But Sulinger still listened very seriously. From time to time, she would ask one or two questions. Finally, Sulinger asked the question that mattered most to her. "Uncle, do you think my father will like that lion head?" The man had a good impression of this little girl because she was good-looking and polite. Now he heard her asking so many questions, with the purpose of asking if her father would like her. His heart was warmed instantly. What a lovely, good-looking, and filial boy. I couldn't help but think of my 3 incompetent sons. It would be a good thing if I didn't say I was filial to him every day, and if I didn't make him half angry to death. The man looked at Suling. "Son, I couldn't help but sigh with my friends around me. Alas, it is better to be a daughter. If I had such a lovely, filial, and sensible daughter, I would probably wake up laughing in my dreams. Little girl, your father is so lucky to have such a good daughter like you. Suchanga had been listening to their conversation, and couldn't help but feel happy when he heard this. Suchanga never failed to hear all kinds of compliments, and he didn't have the patience to listen to them. But this compliment really touched Suchanga's heart. It's in. Who says it's not the case? Wouldn't it be extremely happy to have two precious daughters who are beautiful, well-behaved, sensible, filial, powerful, and... Suchanga chuckled. Don't envy me, sir. Happiness is beyond your imagination. Naturally, others could not hear the sentence, but it did not affect Suchanga's good mood at this time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 190. Chapter 190, even if he should be cut into pieces, he still wouldn't be able to forgive his hatred. Sulinger spent 3 days in Wutong City and inquired about many of the treasures that would be included in the auction this time. Although Wutong City is big, it can't hold up to the physical strength of a little girl like Sulinger. In 3 days, most of Wutong City was visited. Sulinger never failed to experience everything that should be eaten, drank, played, and seen. From the initial fresh curiosity, I gradually lost interest. There are many strange things in the mortal city that Sulinger has never seen before. But the so-called rare thing is just that I have never seen it or played it before. After all, Sulinger is Suchanga's daughter, and Suchanga has given her the best things since she was born. Whether it's food, drink, housing, or toys, they are all good things that Suchanga spent a lot of effort to get. Not to mention how exquisite those treasures look. Let's just say that the aura they possess cannot be compared to ordinary treasures of heaven and earth. After all, it was Suchanga, so how could the things in his hands be inferior? They must be the best in the world. Sulinger was greedy for novelty and played with those mortal things, but in the end those things were just ordinary things. After playing with them and seeing them, she felt that they were just that. Especially in this mortal world, I have seen the various emotions of many mortals, as well as the unsatisfactory life. It also made Sulinger feel how generous her living conditions were. Being around Suchanga, Sulinger had never experienced any hardship. Comparing those mortal girls with myself, I feel more and more that my father is really the best father in the world. Suchanga never showed up next to Sulinger, but followed him not far or near. It will not disturb Sulinger from making any decisions, and you can help Sulinger at any time. During this period, Suchanga even watched with his own eyes as Sulinger was deceived by several vendors' bosses and defrauded a lot of spiritual stones. Although they were low-grade spiritual stones, Suchanga had as many as he wanted, and he wouldn't care even if he lost them all. But seeing his precious daughter being deceived, Suchanga still felt a little distressed. Silly girl, being so happy after being deceived. But fortunately, Sulinger is also a smart little girl. After all, she is Suchanga's cub, how could she be a fool? Not long after being deceived, Sulinger also came to her senses. Those people tricked her. The small vendors were also taught a lesson by Sulinger, who gave her small punishments and big warnings. Sulinger was kind-hearted, so naturally she would not be too harsh. Suchanga was not willing to let his precious daughter be contaminated by mortal karma just because of him. Therefore, Suchanga did not take action against those big scammers that Sulinger punished. It's just that people's hearts are not enough, and once they are driven by money and interests, they can do anything. Just like now. Out of kindness, Sulinger helped a pregnant woman and sent her home at the woman's request. Who would have thought that the pregnant woman would lead Sulinger back to her? Her true face was revealed at home. The family had already prepared a trap, waiting for such a kind-hearted girl who was targeted by them to jump. As soon as Sulinger entered the yard, the pregnant woman closed the door directly, took Sulinger's arm and led him into the house. Sulinger wanted to leave, but was coaxed and dragged by the woman to prevent her from leaving. "Oh, girl, don't leave in a hurry. I will repay you for helping me. Come inside and have a rest. My sister-in-law will make you a bowl of hot tea." The smile on the woman's face was extremely warm. The innocent Sulinger really thought that the other party really wanted to thank her. Although she didn't really want to go, the woman had a big belly and pulled her tight. Sulinger, my son, was afraid that if she tried hard to break free, he would hurt the woman and the child in her belly. In desperation, he reluctantly entered the house with the woman. "Sister-in-law, you don't have to be so polite. I'm just passing by and it's just a matter of raising a finger." The woman's enthusiasm made Sulinger a little overwhelmed. But the feeling of being thanked for doing good things still made Sulinger feel quite good. Looking at the grateful smile of the other person, she felt warm in her heart. Suchanga, with a cold face, stood in the yard of this house and watched the woman drag Sulinger into the house. There was ice in his eyes. I had heard of Suchanga in his previous life. Such a trick. Taking advantage of girls' kindness and weakness, pregnant women are lured into their homes, and the men in the pregnant women's families take advantage of the girls to let down their guard and do evil things. Either seek money and kill them, or abuse them, and finally then kill or sell the girl. No matter it is in the previous life or this life. Suchanga feels that these people who take advantage of other people's good intentions to do evil should be cut into pieces without mercy. Even if such people are killed, the 18th level of hell, where the souls are tortured and painful for eternity and cannot be elevated, is not enough to wash away their sins. Such people are bad to the core. Their heart, liver, spleen, and lungs are black. If they are chopped into pieces and fed to dogs, the dogs will not eat them. Thinking of this, Suchanga suddenly had an idea. In this world, although there are lower realms, heaven realms, and fairy realms, there is no place like the underworld that specializes in collecting evil ghosts and resentful spirits. If the evil people in front of them only torture them, it was too easy for them to make their souls fly away with just one pain. Suchanga thought that maybe he could build an underworld in this world and open up hell and purgatory, so that these filthy things could have a good place to go in the future. The woman was still chatting with Sulinger enthusiastically, trying to get some useful information out of Sulinger. After all, Sulinger looked extraordinary in her dress and conversation, and she looked extremely delicate. The most important thing was that the thing is that this little girl has been alone from beginning to end. This woman and her evil-hearted husband had been targeting Sulinger a day ago, and they only had the opportunity to take action today. She also wanted to find out if Sulinger had put her the valuable things were stored somewhere else. "I thought that if I could not only detain this little girl, but also find all the valuable things on her body, it would be enough for the couple to spend a lot of time." Sulinger, gradually I sensed something was wrong, so I didn't reveal much information. I stood up and wanted to leave, but was stopped by the woman again. "To remind you of my memory, I always want to talk to a girl when I see her being nice, and I even forget to make tea for you. Please wait a moment, I will be back soon. Be sure to wait for me, don't let down your sister-in-law's wishes." Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 192. Sulinger was still evading the woman in her heart. After all, she is already a woman with a child. Wouldn't seeing a little girl like her think of her own child? Sulinger also felt that she should ask more questions. If the woman was coerced by her husband into doing something bad, then her punishment might be lighter. But after Sulinger heard the woman's sharp screams, the last bit of compassion in her heart also dissipated. This woman was not forced to do this, nor did she have any hard reasons. She did it voluntarily, and it was because of greed and viciousness that she committed such evil deeds. Sulinger felt as if she was sinking into the deep and cold pool of the past, and there was a chill in her heart. Can people really be so bad? When Sulinger rushed towards her again, she waved her sleeves and the two men were frozen in place. Those two people had previously been obsessed with Sulinger's gorgeous clothes. It wasn't until his body was frozen in place that he could no longer move that he subconsciously remembered something. It's not like the two of them have done this kind of thing before. At least a dozen kind-hearted girls have fallen into their hands. Every previous success made them feel more confident. It was only after I realized that I was immobilized that I remembered. Although this is Wutong City, it is a mortal city. But there will also be some cultivators coming and going here. Perhaps because of the stereotypes in the past, they have always thought that ascetics generally look like adults, and they can tell that they are ascetics just from the appearance of the immortal bones on the outside. For a young girl like Sulinger, these people have never associated her with a cultivator. Now that they learned that Sulinger was actually a monk, the couple suddenly panicked. They wanted to ask for mercy, but there was no way to do so. Except for their body, their lips and tongue cannot move. At this time, the fear in the couple's hearts was slowly amplified. They felt that their current state was as stiff as two pieces of wood with thoughts, and they even gradually felt that they were unable to feel the various organs of their bodies. Sulinger stood expressionlessly in front of these two people, looking at the expressions still fixed on their faces. They were still the same as when they rushed towards her before, with ferocious and greedy expressions written all over their faces. It looks a little scary. If Sulinger in front of them was really just an 8 or 9-year-old mortal child, they would probably be frightened to tears by the vicious couple. It's a pity that the one standing in front of them now is the daughter of Suchanga and Nangong Wen, a strong Taoist who has reached the peak of becoming a king. Although I have less experience, my mind is simpler. But after all, he is not a mortal from birth, and he is wise and intelligent, and he can understand the truth much faster than ordinary children. Sulinger wanted to believe that most people were kind-hearted, so even if she discovered some clues, she was still unwilling to convict a person so quickly. She still hopes to give others a chance to prove themselves. However, the two people in front of them obviously did not cherish the opportunities given to them by Sulinger, and finally stepped on Sulinger's bottom line. The two of them thought at first that Sulinger would kill them after immobilizing them, and might even devour their souls. After all, there are also rumors among mortals. I have heard that many evil cultivators use the souls of mortals as training materials. Both of them felt that they were dead, so they kept cursing in their hearts that this little girl Sulinger was obviously not a mortal, but she still pretended to be a child and deceived them, mortals. He must have wanted to use this dishonorable method to deceive them and swallow their souls. Cursing a cultivator like Sulinger, it's best to go crazy while practicing and explode to death. Later, they saw Sulinger standing in front of them with a cold face, but did not kill them immediately. This gave the two couples, whose minds had long been darkened, some luck. It is speculated that Sulinger is really a little girl who became a monk by chance. Although the little girl wanted to kill them, she might not have killed anyone before, so she didn't dare to do it. I have to say that these two people really guessed it right. Sulinger has never killed anyone. But having never killed anyone before doesn't mean that Sulinger doesn't dare to kill. It's just that Sulinger is not willing to kill people casually. After all, everyone only has one life and they are all so precious. While Sulinger was hesitating, she suddenly felt that the scene in front of her changed. The yard was still the same shabby yard, but the two people who were fixed in front of her were gone. Sulinger was shocked and turned around to look for those two people. It's in a remote place, with no other residents around. Sulinger had just made sure that there was no one else nearby. But what's going on? Just when Sulinger was wondering what happened, the door of the small courtyard was suddenly pushed open from the outside. Then Sulinger was stunned by the scene in front of her. I saw the pregnant woman who had deceived her before, pushing the door open from the outside and pulling a pretty and kind-looking girl. "Oh, girl, don't leave in a hurry. I will repay you for helping me. Come inside and have a rest. My sister-in-law will make you a bowl of hot tea." The words that came out of the woman's mouth made Sulinger feel very familiar. Thinking back for a moment, weren't these the exact words she said to herself when she coaxed her into the house? Not even a single word, her tone was gentle. The tone of voice was exactly the same. But the girl the woman was pulling was clearly not her. Sulinger was standing in the yard at this time. The yard was not big, and there was no place to cover her figure. As soon as the two entered the door, they would definitely see Sulinger immediately. But the woman had already pulled the girl into the yard, and she still said this to the girl with a warm and grateful look. Sulinger heard these words. Every sentence sounded so familiar to her ears, and they were clearly the exact words that the woman had said to her not long ago. The girl was obviously not willing to enter other people's homes casually and wanted to leave.